is Good Day Chicago. John, thank you. Okay, take a look at your screen for a second. If you've been on social media at all the last few days, you've definitely seen this photo. These are twins, yes? Twin sisters from the UK. We had this story on Good Day Chicago yesterday. Nobody even believes they're related. They actually have to show people their birth certificates when they're questioned because, as you can see, the one on the left is fair-skinned. She's got red hair. The other, dark-skinned with dark hair. They're biracial twins. Now, the story is blowing up on social media. People are amazed by the contrast here. Dr. Edward Marut from the Fertility Centers of Illinois here to explain the science behind how this happens. Doctor, thanks so much for coming in today.
You're very welcome.
I want to ask right off the bat, did this surprise you like it seemed to surprise everyone else on social media when you saw it?
I mean, it's always an interesting observation, but it wasn't as shocking as I think people are making it up to be.
Explain the science behind it. How does this happen?
Sure.
I mean, they're both beautiful young ladies, but starkly different, right?
Well, also, their parents are not of the same race.
Right. The father is Caucasian, we should mention. The mother is half Jamaican, half Dominican.
Correct.
Yeah.
And, you know, and we need to get away from ethnic groups, nationality. We're talking colors, black and white, and that's pigment, and that's what everyone's looking at. So that if you have a mixture of genes within each person, the way those genes distribute themselves can come out all black, all white, or a mixture. And it's just by chance that you've had one young lady being predominantly black and one being predominantly white.
Now, I want to talk to you about twins because we started having the conversation in our meeting in the newsroom yesterday about this photo and the increasing number of multiple births. I mean, we're constantly reading stories about, you know, graduating classes now with 20 sets of twins from a university. When I was growing up, twins were a rarity. And the CDC, in fact, just came out with a report a few years ago saying the twin birth rate has risen 76% since 1980. I mean, the instances of multiples are skyrocketing. Correct. Does this have to do with IVF, the growing popularity of in vitro fertilization?
It's actually quite the opposite, because with in vitro fertilization, we can control the number of embryos that go back.
Right.
So especially at FCI, where we very much push single embryo transfers, our twin rate has actually gone down over the years. However, fertility drug use has gone up, and a lot of times fertility drug use by non-reproductive endocrinologists is not monitored as well, is not done as carefully. So most of the twins you see are not from IVF, they're from fertility drugs that are not really well controlled.
That is so interesting. Yeah. Do you think there's a stigma surrounding IVF? And what would you say to couples out there? Because I know there are so many couples facing fertility issues. And that growing stigma, you know, what you just said is shocking to me, and I don't think most people hear that perspective. What do you tell these couples?
Well, I think that it's become so commonplace these days. I think there's no longer a stigma to any of the very interesting reproductive technologies that we use. Yeah. I have a family member, in fact, who was on one of the first IVF cases done in New York City years ago, and there was a lot of question mark. Who should she tell? Who should she not tell? Everything's wide open. I think things are very much out in the open. People are proud of the fact that they had treatment, and I think that's very different these days than it used to be. That the technology's there, why not use it when you need it?
Dr. Marut, thank you so much for coming in.
So welcome.
Such interesting perspective and an issue that has so many people talking these days.
Yes.
Thank you for coming in.
You're
we
welcome.
appreciate it.